So if you're lucky enough to have a washing machine in your apartment, it's probably going to look something like ours. So our washing machine is located in our kitchen. You can take a look around and see. That's our kitchen, and this is our washing machine. Now, most people we've talked to have had a washing machine like this in their apartment, in the same location. And the major problem that comes up is all the controls are in Korean. So we took the time to translate these controls as best as we could, and we'd like to explain to you now how to use the controls on your washing machine. And while we know that you may not have the exact same washing machine, usually the actual instructions for every washing machine are pretty much similar. So this should be able to help you out a bit. Here we go. So here's what our major control area looks like. So the first button is pretty easy. This is just the power on button. First you power this on. What a pretty sound. And from there you can choose which setting you would like to use. So I'm going to go through each setting for you. So here we go. Press the middle button here. This is the first setting. Okay, this means normal. Okay, so that just means your normal standard wash, and what that includes, if you come over here, you'll notice, it means it's going to take 1 hour and 32 minutes, 40 degrees Celsius will be the water, and the spin cycle will be at 800 RPM. If you want to, you can change all this using these buttons here, but I don't think you really want any hotter of water or you're going to shrink your clothing, unless it's really dirty. Okay, back over here. So, second setting. So over here we have the second setting. This is the only setting I don't understand. It translates to composition. I don't really know what that means. All I can tell you is if you come back over here, it's a shorter cycle, 1 hour and 12 minutes, but the same temperature and the same spin cycle. So I honestly don't know the difference between that. And if anyone can tell us, we'd be more than happy to post that. Second setting. Originally I thought this was a leaf. I thought it was an environmental setting. It's actually for your delicates, so lingerie or just delicate clothing in general. It's an even shorter time, 1 minute and 11 seconds. The water is colder, 30 degrees Celsius, same spin cycle, 800 RPM. Okay, this translates to wool. So I guess your sweaters or anything else that's big and woolly. It's very short, it's actually 47 minutes. And the water here, this button, I'm not 100% sure what this means. It might be a personal water selection or maybe not a lot of water at all, like maybe just kind of like a gentle scrubbing. And the RPM is the slowest one they have so far. So I guess so your wool clothing doesn't stretch out. Okay, this one, as you can see from the picture, or maybe you can't, this is hand wash. So this actually is just a very, very gentle cycle. It's 53 minutes long, and again, the water setting is a personal water setting. I don't know if that means light water or what, and the lightest RPM cycle possible. Okay, now this is the only one I have been unable to really find a translation for. I couldn't find anywhere. If someone can tell me, it actually, if I read it out, it's going to say Gub Sog. And it says 30 on the sweater here. So maybe it's like the quickest possible cycle because it only has 45 minutes. It still has a 40 degrees Celsius water and 800 RPM. So I think maybe this is like a really, really fast wash. Like throw your t-shirts in, it'll be washed in 45 minutes. We'll test that out for you one day. Okay, this is just a rinse and spin cycle. So it's only 14 minutes long. There's no water. So it's just like afterwards if you need to spin off your clothing after it's been rinsed. And then the last one here, this actually translates to water supply of some type. So I don't really know if that means it's to pick water or check your water. Pretty much we just steer away from this entire section and we generally just use these ones over here. We've had no problem with them. Okay, now moving over to the other buttons. So this button here, this is a timer button. So let me just put a setting here. If I press this, you can see that it says 3. I can change this all the way up to 18 before it comes back down again. So if you want to set a timer before when you come home, the reason why you'd want a timer is because we've noticed that our clothing stinks a lot if we don't take it out immediately. So I think if you do your clothing and leave for the day and come home, your clothing's going to smell kind of moldy from the water, like it happens anywhere in the world. So you set a timer so that it'll be ready for when you come home. And then these buttons here, this is your set timer button. This one here I'm actually not sure of. This one here is to add a rinse cycle, and this one here is to prevent wrinkles. So I'm not sure if that's like a loose rinse or a loose spin or something, but it means prevent wrinkles. And then over here we have water temperature, so we can move this up and down if we want hotter or colder water. Here we have additional selections. So these two, you can change all these things back and forth. And then this one here is, it says dry. Now, we're pretty sure our washing machine does not have a dryer. So either this is for attachment, or maybe by dry they mean spin.
Yeah, but how quickly it spins.
Yeah, so I think this might be what it means by dry. It means more like how fast you want this to spin. Yeah, so that's pretty much the general breakdown here. This button here is your play pause button. So if you want to start your washing machine, you have to press the play button. And if you want to pause it, you press the pause button. Pretty obvious. Okay. The only other thing that befuddled us once was sometimes it makes a weird sound like "doo doo" because you haven't closed the door properly. So you have to make sure you really properly push that door in, or it'll make that strange sound and it won't start. Okay, and now we're going to show you how to load the fabric softener and the soap. So maybe you're a little bit brighter and quicker than I am, but when we first came here, I looked at this flat panel, and I don't have a washing machine like this at home. I have one of the top loaders. So I kept putting my soap directly in here. I just kept kind of tossing it in. But something felt wrong about that. Turns out I was right. This here, it's really, really snug. It won't move. But if you give it a really good pull, it's a secret panel. So on the inside here, you add your fabric softener. This side you add the first kind of rinse, kind of gentle scrub area, and then this is for the big soap dispensing. So I'm going to show you. We have very high technology in this household, so we are using the lid of a peanut butter jar. Yeah. So the actual bag required for 1/3 of a cup of soap for this amount of laundry. So usually I do half of my peanut butter cup for the actual first cycle, just the soapy scrub, and then I do a level second cup. Okay, now fabric softener, here we have it right here. Okay, if you go to your local E-Mart or your local Home Plaza, you're going to find tons of this stuff, all different smells. Make sure you smell them before you buy them, because some of them are so strong, super floral, and some of them are smells I've never smelled before. We made the mistake of not using fabric softener for the first, I would say, 3 months we were here.
Yep.
Our clothing would come out, first of all, smelling really moldy, and secondly, feeling very crunchy once it dried. So it is absolutely, positively important for you to buy fabric softener, unless you don't mind your clothing to smell moldy and crunchy. Alright, so here we go, putting it in. I'm going to start it up. Okay, I use the Delicut cycle, not because our clothing's delicate, but because it has the lowest possible temperature, and I like really cold water for my clothing. So I'm going to press play, okay, and in a second you'll hear water, and I will show you where the water's coming in. Okay, so this is going to rinse out first, then this, and then that will go last. And that's it. Our washing machine is on its way.
And now we're going to sit here for an hour and 11 minutes and show you everything.
Exciting.
No, we're not really.